Okay, we are going to now read chapter 12 together. Um, and so, what about the electric chair? Tuesday, January 8th, 1935. So, journal, write chapter 12 in your journal, and again, it's April 6th. Um, so, just looking at this chapter, there are like three really vivid scenes that so let's practice just picturing these scenes and practicing our visualizing of what is happening here. Okay? So the next morning seems just like normal, with Natalie watching the sunrise and then asking for lemon cake, and my mom telling her she's a silly sweet pea and she can't have it. My mom has a little slip of paper Mr. Purdy gave her taped to the icebox door. You remember the icebox is the refrigerator. Twice now she's asked my father how early he thinks she should call, so she is like anxious. I hurry past the Madamans on the way down to the boat for the school. The fog's in and everything is gray. The foghorn bellowed deep, low notes, first one end of the island, then the other. So I want you to really picture these scenes, okay? Running down to the boat. It's foggy, so foggy. The foghorns are blowing. When I get to the Trixels, Teresa Madaman sticks her head out. Moose, can I come with you? To school, I ask. Don't you have kindergarten at the Carcones apartments? Teresa ducks her head back inside. Janet, I'm sorry. I have to go to school with Moose today. I hear her yell. Janet is B. Trixel's daughter. She's the same age as Teresa, but that's the one and only similarity they have. Mommy, Janet whines. Teresa's escaping again. Teresa, you can't go out. I told your mommy I'd look after you. You know that. I hear B. Trixel call. Ugh, Teresa groans. When is my mom getting back from the hospital? Having a baby couldn't possibly take this long. Do you think she went shopping? Teresa, B. Trixel calls. Come get me as soon as you get home, Teresa hisses and ducks back inside. When I get down to the Frank M. Cox, Piper's there waiting for me. I've been so caught up with Natalie, I forgot all about Piper's project. I wonder how long before she brings it up. Boys first, she says. For a second I hesitate, wondering if she has the gangplank booby-trapped. Okay, another scene. So we've shifted from the B. Trixel, Teresa Madaman, and now we've got another scene with Piper, my least favorite. Moose, I owe you an apology. She clatters across the gangplank behind me. For what? I asked, thinking of at least 300 things she could be apologizing for. I shouldn't have had you meet with my dad. I just was worried about your sister, is all. But now that she's safely off the island, what do I say to this? She's got to know Nat's back. My father told everyone we didn't show up for the party at the officers' club, right? Oh, I say. Oh, do you accept my apology or not? I accept your apology. Okay, Piper says. I just wanted to explain something else too. Helping with the laundry isn't against the warden's rules. Here it comes. Oh, really? I say. You bet, she says. All right, let's ask your dad if it's okay, I say. Do you ask permission to put on your underwear every morning? I'm just pointing out. I know exactly what you're pointing out, but no one here sticks to those stupid rules. You're the only one, Moose Flanagan. That kind of reminds me of earlier when he said, I think it was on 16, where he says he does not like to get in trouble. Here we go. It's, I don't like getting in trouble. I was born responsible. It's a curse. So, Piper's right there. He does not want to get involved with this. I shrug. And besides that, you'll be going back on your word. You told my dad you'd help me. You promised. Why should I help you? You treat me like something stuck to the bottom of your shoe. She smiles her most charming smile. I'll be nice now. No, you won't. Well, for a little while anyway. I laugh. It sneaks out of the corner of my mouth before I can stop it. She laughs too. An icy wind blows her hair off her shoulders and bites through my sweater. Let's go inside, she says. The boat pitches in the wake of a big ferry. I walk as if I've just learned how. I can kind of imagine this, so I can totally picture this scene. I walk as if I just learned how. Grasping the side of the door, I get myself inside the cabin where it's warm and steamy like hot chocolate. Piper's cheeks and the tip of her nose are rosy. Her long hair is blown every which way. The cabin is empty except for 2 guards and a scrawny little man in a suit. The scrawny man is handcuffed to one of the guards, and the hair on the back of my neck stands up. Oh, that's Weasel on his way to court, Piper says. What for? Another appeal, probably. He's one of those convicts that knows as much about the law as lawyers do. They call them jailhouse lawyers. My dad says Weasel could convince the hens they're better off with a fox in charge, and then persuade the jury it was in the chicken's best interest to be eaten. You know, Annie would never do this if there was even the slightest chance that she'd get in trouble for it. She's back to her plan now. You don't know Annie, and neither would Jimmy, not if it were really against the rules, Piper says. I look at Weasel again. Forget it, Piper. So I'm thinking, when he looks at Weasel, he thinks, this is what happens when you break the rules. What if I promise to be nice to your sister? Will you then? She asks. I'll think about it, I say. Well, think fast, because I'm doing it today. You'll be nice to Natalie no matter what? Promise, swear to God, she says. Never call her names, never tell your dad stuff about her, treat her really kind. Promise, swear to God, she says. Double swear to God. She holds up her hand like someone swearing her in. I stare at her right through her pretty brown eyes. There's something true in those eyes, and something false too. I nod. All right. You'll help. I suppose, I say, careful not to look at Weasel again. She rubs her hands together. We are in business. All you need to do is talk about Alcatraz. Get people in the right mood. You'll talk up the place, kind of like a warm-up. And I'll tell a few people, then the word will spread. You must know Alcatraz, an Alcatraz story, she says as the boat grinds beneath our feet. Inside her notebook, she shows me a small sign. Once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Get your clothes laundered by Al Capone and other world-famous public enemies. All clothes cleaned on Alcatraz is the only laundry facility in the world, run by convicted felons, including the notorious Scarface Al and Machine Gun Kelly. Only cost 5 cents. I groan. Al Capone? It's only one little mention. She flashes her new movie star smile. Nope, not doing it. She ignores this. We walk off the boat now, just behind Weasel and his guards. Follow my lead. Then when I leave, you take over. That's all you have to do. Talk. Did the warden say talking was against the rules, Moose Man? Talking about Capone is. Fine, don't talk about him then. He's not the only convict we have, you know. Jeepers. So that's the end of kind of like that scene. So they've on the boat, and then I'm thinking, why the heck does he believe her? Why do you think he goes along with this? Jot down your thoughts. Why the heck does he go along with her? So pause, and then you can restart when you're done jotting. Okay, now we're at the classroom scene. In Miss Bent's class, Piper moves into action. She motions me to the back of the room where history books are stacked waist high and a bunch of kids are copying answers for last night's homework. My head says don't follow her, but my feet walk back there. Why does he go along with her? It's been a hard week, don't you think, Moose? Piper asks. Piper says to me so loud. She clearly means to be overheard. Did you see that, Shiv? I also just I had a thought when she says it's been a hard week. Moose has had a horrible week. She doesn't even know that he said such a hard week. But she's using this to kind of get interest, which I think is kind of interesting. Did you see the Shiv? What's a Shiv? the girl asks. It's a dagger made of old silverware or carved out of a pot handle. The cons use them to stab each other or kill our dads, Piper says, though she barely looks at the girl, as if relaying this information is not her aim at all. I guess they found it in a library book, Piper says, pages carved out in a knife shape. How'd they find it? Do you know, Moose? I shrug. He knows. He just doesn't want to tell. Piper glares at me, then slips away. So what happened? The girl demands. Somebody got stabbed, I guess. What's the inside of the cell house look like? The fat kid asks. I've never been there, I say, but my dad says the cells are like cages. Each one has a toilet, a sink, a bed, and a man. What about the electric chair? Anyone seen that? A girl wants to know. We don't have one, I answer. How about them firing squads? The fat kid is turned all the way around in his seat. This is the United States of America. We don't have firing squads, I explain. Yeah, that's not how we knock people off here. We fry them. I've read all about it. It's like this. A skinny kid shakes all over to demonstrate. What about the metal bracelets, handcuffs and those whoozy-whats on the legs? Okay, I had to do a quick interruption to teach class, and now I'm back. And we are at whoozy-whats on their legs. I think maybe they just wear them for, special occasions, I explain. Out of the corner of my eye, I see Piper talking to Dell. If he goes for this, everyone else will too. So what happened? Scout asks. With the shiv in the library book? The girl seems proud of herself for knowing the word now. Like I said, somebody sliced up a guy, maybe killed him. I have no idea what I'm talking about. That's the thing about the cell house library, I say. It's a high-risk operation. Really? A girl asks. Books are overdue, I explain. They lock you up. They have a special cell for it, overdue library book cell. If it's more than 10 days overdue, they put you in the whole solitary confinement. No kidding? The fat kid asks. I can see him fingering his library book, which I assume is overdue, which I'm guessing is past due. Oh yeah, I say, I'm starting to enjoy myself. And you should see what happens when you forget to say please. Bread and water for an entire week. Forget thank you, and it's even worse. Oh, come on, someone says. Forget to wash your hands before supper, they slap you in leg irons. Prison is a bad place, I'm telling you. Scout is biting his lip, trying not to laugh. Most everyone knows I'm kidding, but one girl isn't too sure. On the other hand, I say, we have the politest felons in America. They say please, thank you, pardon, and excuse me. I mean, if you're going to be robbed or murdered, you really want a polite guy to do it. Somebody who offers you a chair and some milk and cookies first. It's kind of like being shot by your grandmother. Who wouldn't prefer that? You must learn a lot living there, a skinny girl says. She's taking in my every word. Oh, yeah, on weekends there's special classes the cons teach us. You learn how to blow safes, make silencers, steal cars. Thieves' school, we call it. Homework's tough, though. Ever tried to get a dead body in a rumble seat? Everyone laughs. They all know I'm kidding now. Then the bell rings, thank God, because I'm out of stories. I look around and see Dell has disappeared. He comes back a few minutes later with his sweater on, but nothing but bare skin underneath. He rolls up his shirt and hands it to Piper, who's busy talking to Scout, sign in hand. When we are all settled in our seats, Miss Bimp starts rattling on about the importance of good posture and how no cultivated lady or gentleman would dream of slumping during oral reports the way certain members of our class are doing. She's just getting warmed up when the notes start appearing. How about tomorrow? One pencil-rolled scrap of paper asks. No, only today, Piper writes back in her back-slanted cursive. How much for socks? Another says. 2 cents, Piper writes back. Will my blouse come back bloody? My mom will kill me if I ruin my blouse. No. Can you advance me a nickel? No, please. The note comes back again, this time written in pencil, grinding capital letters. No, Piper scribbles mercilessly. When class ends, 2 lines form outside the bathrooms. One by one, Miss Bent's students come out, sweater over bare chest, shoes with no socks, jumpers with no shirts beneath. I watch from a distance as they hand Piper their clothes and their money. Please, Piper, I can't take off my dress. Can't I bring something tomorrow? Penelope begs Piper. I'm sorry, Piper explains. She rolls her lips together and shakes her head. Our arrangements simply won't allow that kind of flexibility. She looks really sorry, too, as if she would change the rules in a second, if only she could. The girl marches off to the bathroom and returns, slip in hand. Can't do it. Too, personal, Piper tells the girl, whose face is now as red as her hair. At the end of the day, I see eighth grade guys walking home bare-chested, shivering in the gray, foggy afternoon. Piper limited her sale efforts to the 7th grade class, but probably they had a friend in the 7th grade send their clothes in. I'll bet Piper got twice as many 8th grade kids this way. I have to admit, pretty smart, but she's going to get in trouble for this. I just know it. So there were 3 distinct scenes, right? There was the beginning, when he's walking. That's a short scene. There's the scene on the ferry, and then the scene at school when Moose is telling his stories. And then I guess 4 scenes, right? At the end when he kind of watches everybody bringing in their clothes for Piper. So I'm going to ask you 2 things. Do you think Piper's going to get in trouble or not? And explain why. So jot that down. Do you think she is going to get in trouble or not? And explain your thinking. Do that in your book. And then I want you to, in your notebook, I want you to think about which of these scenes in the book, the beginning scene when Moose walks by Teresa Madaman, the scene on the ferry, or the scene in the classroom. Which do you think is the most important scene in the whole chapter? And then write down and do a quick sketch. Okay? So I'm going to write down these directions as well and attach them to the end, just in case you missed that. Okay, so here at the end of chapter 12, do you think that Piper will get in trouble for this or not? Jot down your opinion in your journal and explain what in the story makes you think that. Whether you think she will or won't. Why do you think that? And now, which scene in this chapter do you think is the most important? Okay, which one of these? And then in your journal, just do a quick scene drawing. It could be a little graphic novel-y or however you want to show the scene.